Well, good morning and good afternoon to you all. Welcome to Tech Talk with Zyxel. My name is Tri Nguyen, and I am the channel manager and product manager, market development manager here at Zyxel USA. Good to have you here. I've been here part with Zyxel for now 17 years, and looking forward to talking about some new things going on here at Zyxel, including ways that partners like yourself can make additional revenue streams using security services, and our new Circle platform to be able to do that with our partners. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A. We would like to have it be a little bit interactive here. You can either use the chat, but mostly use the Q&A if you can, because then I can keep track of who's saying what and be able to answer those in line with the all that. I think there's some gardening might go outside that's happening that maybe might affect some of this call, but hopefully my mic is tuned in enough that you can only hear me. But let's go ahead and get started and jump right on in. Maybe just by a show of hands, how many of you already are selling Zyxel security services using our USG Flex or USG platforms or ATP platforms? Thank you, Michael. So it looks like a few of you have there. All right, there we go. So this is one of the ways that you can basically have a chance to sell to your customers. Our USG platform is very complex in the way that it allows for you to have multiple ways of revenue streams that can come into play. But a little quick introduction to who we are. We are now been in business. Actually, let me close my shades real quick. Oh, the beauties of working remote from home, right? So we have been in business for over 32 years, since 1989, 100 million devices making global connections at Zyxel Networks, 600 employees, 700,000 businesses using Zyxel solutions in 150 different markets. We are internationally recognized for our innovation and design for all of the awards of different products, innovations that we've created and released. So we've been around for a while, and we've been certified with ICSA certified labs of Verizon company for the last 20 plus years straight. And we're one of the few vendors that have that distinction in the world today. And so we are proud of that. We are solutions driven. So if you as clients and partners and your customers have specific needs, because we design the hardware and software, we're able to integrate all of those features and functions into the solution and be able to provide that a more direct way. So even smaller partners, or maybe even large, any size partners who have feedback to us, we are able to deliver those solutions in a full ecosystem because we control a lot of the end-to-end capabilities, because we have a comprehensive portfolio delivering that end-to-end solution, security appliances, wireless solutions, switching networks for your core and for fiber or even multi-gig now. Gateway access solutions for hotspot management, fiber access LTE, network management solutions, all managed in the cloud or in standalone, a lot of different functions depending on your business case and your business scenario. So today's topic is about security and how important security is, and also how to make revenue off of selling security type services. If you're inspired to be a managed service provider and getting that monthly recurring revenue opportunities, this is definitely one of the best platforms that you can do that, because of all the different kind of features and functions that you can do. We'll focus on a few of them today, but there will be a lot more that you can dive in deeper to find out more on what kind of services that you can continue to upsell to your customers. But really for small businesses, it's trying to figure out what kind of services is best for that business. But they need expertise, because they need you guys as partners and experts in the field on how to secure or how to provide these kinds of functionalities and services to their employees or to the company, to protect them and deal with the security issues that are available, that are happening today. Of course, in the news, right, we hear about all the different ransomwares and cyber attacks that's happening. So a lot of those is kind of in the forefront minds of people. Am I safe? Am I going to be attacked? And am I going to be a target for these kinds of attacks? So security, I call it as a UTM gold mine, because UTM just stands for Unified Threat Management. And it's a gold mine because it's a lot of times it's untapped. Most people, and if you can imagine, a lot of small businesses still just implement a basic SPI firewall with no other types of scanning. It's just using port blocking. But we know as security experts that can be very insecure and have a lot of different ways or holes or potential for threats and malware attacks and things like that. So it's a gold mine to us because it is a kind of a component where you can seed to different companies and to different to your customers the platform, which is the USG or the ATP type platform, and those provide the protection, and that's kind of the I kind of call it like a gaming console type, where you have a device that it goes into the system, and a lot of the services you're selling is kind of like the video games themselves, and you're adding these different functionalities to add protection, to provide different types of services to that customer, different layers of protection, because there's many different types of threats, both inside and outside, using technologies in the cloud to be able to protect things on the local side network and be able to do things like IDP, intrusion detection prevention, DOS attacks, so denial of service types attacks, antivirus, VPN, spam, making sure things are encrypted. All of those kinds of functionalities are possible with this kind of platform. So why is security actually important? Well, business networks needs to be safe, right? They need to be not only from an employee standpoint, from the data perspective, any kind of data breaches, but also prevent any of those malware, ransomware type things can come in from the outside as well. Also within the network, there could be threats that are lurking, things like ransomware, cryptojacking, all those data breaches, just to name a few of those. And they could find their ways in. So SPI firewalls is not enough. Those are not enough to protect against those kinds of malicious attacks. So in security sensitive industries like retail, healthcare, government, finance, this is very important to make sure. But of course, if it's important to those kinds of industries, then of course it should be important to even your average day retail or average day company that maybe still does credit card processing like locally inside their company, or has billing and those kinds of servers inside their company as well. That needs kind of protection as well. So it's very important because I think most of the time, most small businesses don't think they are on the radar for attack. And that's the dangerous part of it, is that, well, I'm too small for them to attack. But a lot of these malware, malicious, activities, they're pretty much agnostic to who it is. They don't care what company it is. As long as your IP is vulnerable and has some sort of loophole, it's going to try to take advantage of that and maybe utilize the devices that it does find and compromise and use that to stage attacks to other companies or to other IP addresses that are out there on the internet. So if any of you have ever installed any kind of network firewall, even your PC, if you plugged it directly into the internet with a public facing IP address, you'll notice in a matter of seconds that IP address will be already scanned and already have some weird things going on that you didn't expect, because there's a zillion zombie hosts out there just looking for vulnerabilities and devices to attack, and it really doesn't care who it is. So it's just a matter of time before somebody gets compromised and be able to do that. So a lot of the different threats out there require a multi-layered approach, because there's multiple threats, both again inside and outside. You have the inside threats, you have the outside threats like IDP for the intrusion detection, you have malware, you have new threats that maybe need to be scanned by sandboxing, but then you also have the internal stuff. People needing to use, going to particular websites. So you have content filters, be able to control different applications that are used inside the network. So you have both directions, inside and out, and be able to have the information synced within the cloud. It gives you an advantage of making sure that it's up to date and be able to block against the different threats or different usabilities that are out there. So there's a multi-layer of opportunity. Any one of these, single kind of functions could be, your doorway into a network in terms of selling a managed service. A lot of it, and we'll talk about some of the ones that are most popular and probably the easiest sells to the network here, and that would really much kind of help you kind of get your foot in the door. But we do offer services, security functionalities as like a frontline defense, like antivirus. The content filtering is probably your biggest entry, is content filtering, making sure people are going to the sites they should be going to and not going to the ones that may be malicious or potential for higher risk for malware and things like that. Layer 7 application intelligence, allowing you to block things like BitTorrent. Again, behaviors and applications that may compromise a network's security from the inside. Being able to traffic shape, prioritize, all those kinds of things within that. And antivirus and intrusion detection and the layer 7 application, those kind of all co-work together to help against things like ransomware. So be able to find those and block against all the key ones that are out there, and then utilizing the cloud to be able to kind of solidify the signatures themselves. GeoIP enforcement, it adds another layer of security for location services. So if people are building VPN from out of the country when they shouldn't be, the IP is from who knows where, from another country, it can block. So based on country, based on that kind of location, they can use that to block certain types of traffic. So you can really kind of mitigate a lot of these different threats that are coming from outside just by some of these services here. Sandboxing and machine learning, be able to find zero-day threats, and we'll talk about a little bit more detail why that's important. Botnet malware blockers, to be able to block ways that these kinds of malware is communicating back to some of the other servers that are then kind of orchestrating how these different attacks are happening. And we're able to do that and be able to block that. Intrusion prevention, like I mentioned before, scanning anything that is trying to scan maybe open ports or open types of services in SQL or different types of network traffic attacks, being able to block those kinds of behaviors. And reputation filter, again, is just another like an IP-based, knowing which sites or which IPs have been flagged as malicious, and using all of those and using that information to be able to block if an address is like reputable or not. So a lot of ways to kind of block and control. Services like wireless controllers built into the device, so you can manage and deploy access points. So this is not really a security thing, but it's still another one of those services add-on that you can sell within the platform. Hotspot management is a very popular one as well, being able to add functionalities like terms of service where people have a guest network access in that business and be able to allow for people to get free internet access just by clicking, I agree on a terms of service, or even integrating it into a pay type service. So if you have a coffee shop, a small retail or a small restaurant, they can actually charge a minimum fee for internet access, or just make it as part of the the services that are there. So you can do that with a ticket printer and be able to do all those kinds of things and get some opportunity for revenue through this hotspot functionality. So again, this platform is so rich in features and functions. We've partnered with some of the leading specialists for security, McAfee, Webroot, Lastline, Trend Micro, Bitdefender, that helps to integrate those functions into our appliance today. So this is definitely one of the applications that is very important that I feel. You may have someone in a hotspot area that's providing hotspot management, or maybe a hospitality that's offering free internet services. One of the big complaints that we're getting is that people are using these public access networks, using access things like BitTorrents, and going to certain places to download illegal music or videos, and causing an issue to that to this, not only the service provider that's providing it, but to the hotel itself. So these hotels are getting these cease and desist notes that say, well, you need to block, or you need to stop downloading or having your people download these illegal files, and you need to do it, or else we're going to have to cut off your internet connection. So some of these hotels or some of these public hotspots have no clue what's going on and have no visibility. So application awareness gives you the power to offer a block mechanism and be able to block at the application level itself. So it can detect thousands of different applications, including different versions of BitTorrent and all those torrent type softwares, and know based on the packet level, the packet header itself, be able to block that. You're able to control it. And this is also a great tool for you to control even priority accesses. So let's say you have somebody who wants to use YouTube or some Netflix and things like that. You can block them from using it from in the business hours, but outside of business hours, you can allow for it to happen. And you can also choose how much bandwidth that it's allowed to use as well. So you can limit it down to 1 megabit per second if you want for that particular application. So it's really granular in its control and be able to do all that. And so you can again take and seize control and give the opportunity to control that to your customer and provide that as a service. So you be able to manage this, you be able to monitor it, you're able to provide reporting and information to the customer on that. The next kind of the next application that people are really keen on is, how do I block social media? How do I block things like Facebook and YouTube from the employees, or even from certain free access, or even Netflix and things like that? How do you prevent users from abusing the free network that you're providing? Or your employees, how are they productive from a productivity level? How are they being controlled or managed, I guess you can say, on where they can go? So things like URL and DNS blocking with our content filtering web services is able to do that. It's all done in the cloud. The reputation and the categorization is all managed there. There's there's a query that goes on when a user tries to go to the internet. It's responsive via the cloud and provides you a category. And based on your categorization and based on your priorities and your profiles for those customers and for those users, they get applied with either a block and information on why it's blocked. So it may say they'll get a block screen that says, it is social media site and your admin has blocked that. So it's able to do that. It's categorized billions of URLs and IP information out there. It can block both HTTP and HTTPS web pages, be able to manage all of that within the user. So this is really a good way to be able to block that. I know now with people going on working from a kind of remote environment, our content filtering can actually be extended into a hosted access point that is sitting in the remote region, but it acts and functions just like a layer 2 device, where it builds a VPN tunnel back to the corporate and is under the same exact policies as if you were sitting in the office itself. So all of these kinds of content filtering services, you can still be able to monitor, manage, and be able to block and control any kind of inappropriate websites or sites that might be malicious or have been compromised. It can also detect those as well. So it gives you peace of mind, security for your customers, for yourself, being able to provide multi-layer UTM protection. It's really simple. It gives you the visibility that you need as well within the system, within the devices on the onboard, and also now that it's manageable within the Nebula platform on our USG Flex line, you're able to get all of this information into the cloud. So what is kind of the best defense that you can use? It's basically our hardware firewall Zywall portfolio. We have our VPN series, which is kind of our VPN encryption if you're looking to make just VPN tunnels with no UTM functionalities. Our NSG series, which is our cloud UTM solution, that's getting phased out because we do have our new USG Flex series, which is our on-prem and on-cloud UTM solution. So USG Flex with the latest firmware is now available within our Nebula platform that I mentioned. Our ATP provides the highest level of security protection because it does have some AI cloud sandboxing technologies that's there to analyze unknown threats or zero-day threats. So that's going to be our highest tier of protection. But currently, though, not until maybe later this year, that the ATP will have be moved into also Nebula. So keep that in mind. It can function perfectly fine in a standalone, but in the future, it will also be able to be managed within our Nebula cloud. And that is somewhere where we want people, users, and customers to be able to go to that cloud, because it gives you access to not only the security, the reporting, the switching networks, and the access points all integrated into one portfolio. If you want to find out more information about Nebula, we have webinars every month about Nebula, the Nebula platform, or you can check some of the recordings of our Nebula webinars that we've done in the past and find out more information on how Nebula and that platform can help you as a managed service provider to give a holistic presentation, holistic network control over, for, switches, access points, and gateways. So be able to provide you kind of the complete solution to that and provide that as a complete service to your customers. So today I also wanted to introduce and talk about how partners can use the licensing as recurring revenue using what now we call Zyxel Circle. So Circle is now a new application for partners within the cloud that can bring things together. So that's kind of the idea, bringing all your customer networks under kind of one platform, simpler way for our partners, for you as our partners, to do business and using the security licensing subscription platform. So it's not just security that's going to be part of this platform. We're looking to integrate more things, including the Nebula platform within Circle. But the kind of the fundamental functions of it is that it is geared towards partners. So you may have already experienced a little bit about, you saw in marketplace within myzyxel.com, but this one is reserved primarily for partners. And we'll tell you why it's important for partners to have this access to Circle, not only for pricing and your special discounts that you may have through distribution, but those pricings will be available here within the Circle platform as well. But it's a simpler way for partners to do business. We've designed it to simplify the way that you manage licenses, subscriptions for MSPs like yourself. If you're a VAR just managing a few sites, it's really a way to kind of centralize all of these licenses from all your different customers that you may be managing into a single platform. And we believe that it's going to be a great experience for you, not only from a resale standpoint, but also from kind of a management standpoint, because we're looking for ways to make it easier for you to renew subscriptions for your customers, and even ways later on for your customers to renew themselves and be able to also maybe provide you with the revenue, that you would normally, as a managing partner. So we want to make this platform as simple as possible, making it a single platform experience for all different licenses and renewals within in the Zyxel world. Right now, Nebula has its own kind of management for licenses now within itself, but we're looking at integrating that within the Circle platform. And that's currently in the process. And it's one of our highest priorities to get that done. You're able to manage all of your customers, the devices, all at the same time without having to switch accounts. If you have different accounts for different customers, you're able to import that information into as a managing VAR or a managing MSP within the Circle, and be able to manage and buy or sell those licenses or buy or renew those licenses for that customer. You can have different teams, you can have different groups to have access to different privileges. So it's very like organizational wise, like for an MSP, you may have a buying support team who only manages the licenses that have access to, this area of Circle, or maybe certain customers within Circle. You're able to do easy renewal. It's instant activation without having to handle or manage any kind of license keys. You can just do it straight through an online payment and be able to, use that, or you could still buy through and activate licenses from, distribution that you may be buying it from, or some other channel that you might still be buying it from. You can still activate those licenses and information within Circle itself. We're also working on different payment plans, billing, even monthly types of billing that will come in the future. So we're continually to evolve the Circle platform. Reporting dashboard, so you're able to see all the different devices that maybe the licensing and billing information that is coming up, maybe things that are up for renewal, things that are slated, and you can filter those to see who do I go after, or who do I notify that their licenses are coming up for renewal over the next 1 or 2 months. So it gives you kind of an attack, line item attack thing that you can check box through and make sure your customers are renewed. Because if you renew them, you're just signing them up for another year, and that's revenue for you and revenue for you guys, and be able to lock that customer in for another year. So Circle's been designed to help and simplify all of these things. You're able to see within the dashboards, be able to manage those and see all the different devices, licenses, purchases, bringing it all together. We're going to import and sync things and devices from Nebula that's coming up. And you get an overview of all the different licenses and purchases, and even order history. That's something that was kind of missing from when you just buy through the normal channels. You may not know what keys that you just bought or for who. I think one of the biggest challenges or biggest issues that we have is partners buying the wrong license for the wrong device. They thought they had a USG 300 or 310, and they bought a USG the license for that. But in actuality, it was only a USG 110. And when they try to apply the license, it wouldn't apply, obviously, because it's not the right license for the device. So then we have to go through a return process, and it's just a messy situation where they have to buy a new license and stuff like that. This is what Circle allows for you to do: is you could buy the licenses for that specific device and not make, basically, you can't make a mistake. It allows you to organize your customers. You can put them very much like our Nebula platform. You can create different organizations, and each organization can have multiple sites underneath. So you can manage them, can have in a multi-tier level, be able to group them and customize how you want those devices to be managed. The cool thing is that in this view, you'll have this organizational view, but the devices that are still within the Zyxel platform itself, the backend system has none of this information. So it's still just kind of a flat file there. So you could still use that if you want, but you're able to register and import new devices, and you can sync that from existing Zyxel accounts. And so there is a kind of a request, capability where you can request for accounts for you to manage. And so you can send a request basically to that Zyxel account and say, I would like to request management within this platform for your account. And on that account, the person who's managing that account would have to approve and have to accept for that management, and basically make the link so that it can become a part of this platform. It really makes it easier for you to find and report on the different devices. You can, drill in, find, filter different devices, generate simple views that can help you with the different renewals. You can also have the historical information. You could find what was purchased in the past. The history of those licenses will be capturing that. But you're able to capture and be able to see and be able to buy licenses right out of the device, out of this GUI itself. So when you add to a cart, you're adding the licenses that you chose for this specific device into your shopping cart. And when you check out, if it's multiple devices, it's okay. You can just check out, and all of those licenses will get purchased and applied to those devices as appropriate. So it makes it, again, simpler for you to not have to manage these license keys and be able to worry about different serial informations of that and keep track of that. You're able to just do that and be able to see that order history and be able to bill your customer accordingly. So it also helps to make the renewal process simpler as well. You can quickly identify the different services that need to be. You can just checkbox if you want a security full bundle pack. If you want to add each individual licenses themselves, you can do that as well. The pricing will also be shown here. If you don't yet have an account with the Circle, it will show the kind of the street price or around the street price type pricing. But if you want to see your discounted price as a partner, you have to make sure you apply and get approved for the Circle platform. Actually, you have to get approved anyways to get access to the platform anyways. So you should be able to see your prices pretty from the beginning. We could auto activate services in bulk. So you can activate a bunch of different devices, you can pay for it, and all of those devices that get paid for get all activated online just as you check out. You're able to register and activate license keys that you may have, physical ones that you purchased maybe through distribution. You can still apply those keys to these devices as you see fit as well. So you could still use this as kind of your main platform. You no longer have to really go to the Zyxel platform to do the licensing, or even within the GUI of the device. You could just do it within this Circle platform itself. And it allows for you to also align the different licenses. So you can align subscription. That's coming up soon. We're making a release that allows for you to kind of normalize maybe your customers. Let's say you hit a situation where you have, here in this case is Tony's office, and he may have several different types of devices that are in that office, but they were kind of installed at different points in time, meaning that some of the services or maybe some of the Nebula or the other security functionalities, they may be kind of offset from each other from different devices that were installed at different times. Well, you're able to then select the groups, the organizations, and in the individual devices and be able to align them. And it will auto calculate the top up so that you can create, a month that you want it to expire. It may not be the exact day, but within the same month, right? So we have monthly licenses that can be applied. So if it's adds a year, or maybe it adds each of these devices like 2 to 9 months or whatever it is, it can give you that information, how much to top it off on those monthly costs if you want to get to kind of normalized. And then once it's been normalized, and from every point in time after that, a year from there, or when the next expiration is, you can then just buy, a year's worth of services for those all at the same time, and they would still be aligned, right? So you're able to do that and auto calculate. So that's coming up in a future release later this year, to be able to do that alignment of your services. So it'll help for you to manage different devices or even different groups. You may have a customer that maybe he has 5 different sites that have been installed all at different times and have different expiration dates. But you, as a managed service provider, you want to bill them, a monthly on that bill or on that time for all the devices. So you can normalize and you can align them all if you feel fit to do that. And then that way makes it simpler for you to do the invoicing management for that customer. Well, Circle also lets you have access to the normal licenses. So we have a license store if you still want to buy specific license keys that maybe you're not managing for a specific customer within the Circle account, right? There's still going to be customers out there that you're just managing on kind of an ad hoc basis, where you've been selling them the actual keys. Maybe they are they're their own IT, and they'll enter in, or they manage their own MyZyxel account, and they can just enter the keys, but they purchase it through you. So you have access to purchasing all the different types of licenses that's available for both security and also Nebula, within this licensing store. And I'll show you a little bit about that as well. You can filter it down to find out, hey, where are my licenses? Which license should I buy? But you also still have to be careful. You have to know which licenses to buy for which model. So there still is that chance that you, hopefully you don't make the mistake of buying the wrong license key for the customer, the wrong customer device, right? You still have that to make sure. You still have to make sure that you have purchased the correct, the license model for it. But those keys can be redeemed and transferred, to another individual. It's not tied within that device itself or any particular account. So you can just sell them basically as is. So if you want access, all you got to do is go to circle.zyxel.com, or within the MyZyxel platform. I'll show you where you can go. There's access to the Circle. If you have not yet applied, or your account is not yet activated for Circle, you'll be hit with this kind of this application window, where you just have to click on apply now. You log in with your MyZyxel account if you haven't already, and it will pre-populate the your customer data information based on what was in MyZyxel. You can just have to double check that and be able to submit it. Once submitted of that application, it goes to us here at Zyxel, where we will just verify that you are a Zyxel partner, an approved partner, and be able to then give you access based on your gold, silver, bronze tier pricing. So we will activate that, and then once activated, you can log into Circle. You'll be able to see the different devices, or import the other devices, or even request for managing other customer accounts or devices within your Circle. So some of the differences between Circle and Marketplace. So Marketplace was released last year, and Marketplace, it was more kind of geared towards the end user, where when they logged onto MyZyxel, you could buy some device licenses and activate them within the MyZyxel system when you checked out. And the pricing there was MSRP type pricing above the street price that you, as normal VARs would be selling them at. With Circle, there's a lot more functionality that goes into there. There's not only the so these are kind of the main difference. The main difference for Circle is that it gives you offline payment information, or ability to add those licenses offline. You can also manage that with distribution if you needed to, for like distribution invoicing later on. Client management, all multiple accounts in their single platform. You have your partner tier pricing that's there. Your device grouping and the organizational capabilities are all in Circle. Being able to redeem, activate licenses, and do device registration activations as well within Circle that you can't do in the Zyxel Marketplace. So end users can still buy through the Marketplace side of things if they have an account with MyZyxel, but you as a managing partner should be managing your customers and be able to give them these licenses and managing those types of things through the Circle platform itself. So Circle really is an asset management, an account management tool, and an e-commerce tool, all in the same kind of vein. And so you're able to import and do all those kinds of things that we talked about before, all integrated into one platform. So I wanted to show you a little bit of what it looks like if you haven't seen it before, if you haven't already gone to Circle. So I mentioned before, when you go to like My Zyxel here, if you log into the My Zyxel, you'll notice that there's a corner here, there's applications, and there's a bunch of different application choices here: Nebula, Secure Reporter, CNC, Circle Marketplace. This is where you would go to if you needed to go to Circle if you're used to using My Zyxel today, or you just go to circle.zyxel.com and that will take you there as well. So once you click on that, it should take you to the landing page. If you haven't yet logged in with an account that is approved for it, you click on Apply Now. And here, let's see, I have to log into here because I got timed out. I hit Apply Now. So it also pre-imports your My Zyxel information into this field. So yeah, you just have to click on Submit, basically just verify the information here. Click on Submit, is that easy. And it should give you, it should give us a notification that you've applied and be able to allow, we'll be able to allow you to join. So I'm just going to log into my account because I've already been approved here, but this is what it would look like when you go to the Zyxel Circle dashboard. I don't have any devices on here, but I can show you a little bit of the view that can come, that is available within this. Okay, hold on. All right, so here's the devices. You'll have the different devices. If there's any pending requests from managing your other devices or other accounts, you can find out more information on that. But it'll have a reminder license renewal information here if you have any expired devices. If you go to your My Devices, this is where you would add devices and add sites, and this is what you would show up here. You're able to manage the different devices into different sites here. I've created an organization called Tries Retail Shops, and I have a store that I've opened up on Rodeo Drive, store number 1. So you can manage the different devices that are in here. So again, you can add additional devices and manage them all multiple layers and be able to select different licenses and stuff for those devices. So if you log into My Zyxel, you'll be able to see all of your different devices there. Request history is your different requests. If you made a request for access to different My Zyxel accounts, and this is the licensing store that you can then purchase all the different types of access. So different types of license keys. So if you're not using the device-based, and so it gives you this warning, it says if you want to renew it on your devices, you want to do it on the device themselves, just so that you don't hit any kind of errors, and you can activate it immediately. But if you want to still just buy license keys themselves, you can then choose, let's say, UTM security pack. If you want the bundle for the USG Flex, it gives you the options for all the different models that are available for the bundle. As you can see here, you can basically add multiple devices. You can add it to cart and be able to check out and purchase and get those license keys. And then after that, you can see your order history, be able to see all that information there as well. And I think there was, I think, a request information somewhere here, but I have to look to see where is your actual request. I think if I have my devices, then it will actually show up more. So, but either way, this is the Circle platform, and it's, again, just go to circle.zyxel.com, and you'll be able to get access to these. Also, the purchasing we've integrated also has tax exemption as well. So even the marketplace now didn't have that, and before when we used Digital River, we didn't have, it was very difficult to do tax exemption. But here you can enter your tax ID or tax exemption ID and get that exempted while you check out. So you're able to process that without having to pay for taxes because you are a authorized reseller. So here is that's pretty much what Circle does and what Circle is, and hopefully you'll be able to get access to that soon and take advantage of that. So if you're not part of a partner program, make sure you jump into that. It's a free program. It's called our ZAP program, Zyxel Approved Partners. We're here to jumpstart your profitability and your business. So You start out, if you're a new partner, you start out in this silver tier. If you can maintain a 6K qualifying sales in a 6-month period, then you stay in silver. If not, you then move to bronze. There's actually a discount. It says none here, but actually is a small discount now. And in the gold tier is where we want you to be, because you have access to the highest level of discounts within distribution and also within the Circle platform. But all you have to do is maintain a 12K, which is 2K a month for a 6-month period, and you will be in the gold. Now, if you already have a project that is maybe valued at 12K and you're closing in on that, let us know. Let your sales rep know that we can get you to the gold tier as soon as that goes through. So definitely work with us on that, and we can get you those additional margin required for that. But most of the time, if you do have a project, you're already getting the margins that you would get for a deal registration anyways. But take advantage of that with the deal reg, the support that we provide, post sales support. Our engineers are here to help you with that. We work through D&H, Ingram, Synix, Wave, and Target Distribution. We just signed up Pace International as another kind of a value-added distributor out of Minneapolis or Minnesota. So we are looking to bringing them, online on board with all of these services and stuff. So that's good. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, it's your turn now to ask me. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A section. If you can't think of any questions now to ask, you can always send me an email. So my email is tri@zyxel.com. So feel free to send me a message there, and we will look forward to talking to you. And if there are no other questions, I'm going to sit around for maybe a minute or so. If you have a question, you're frantically typing right now to ask me a question, please do. I'll just give it a few. But if not, if you are dropping off now, I thank you for your time. Thank you for being here and joining us for this webinar. We have another webinar coming up next week on some more security things. I'm not sure what the exact topic is, and I know Marcus is going to be doing that to help you. A lot of the security ones that he's been doing are about best practices and stuff on how to configure your security or how to lock down different types of applications and functions for that. But look forward to, again, if you have any questions, you feel free to reach out to our sales reps. You have your dedicated sales reps. If you haven't known, or you didn't know, that we have now 3 sales reps for a West, Central, and East, let us know. Again, you can always email us at sales@zyxel.com if you just want a general inquiry or you're not sure who your direct sales rep is. So again, thank you again for your time. Thank you this afternoon for spending these last 43 or so minutes with me. And we look forward to seeing you at another Zyxel Tech Talk soon. All right, thank you much, and have a good rest of your day. Stay safe.